if you don't have a coffee cup with your drift car, your first drift car on it, then like, what are you doing? So we got Brian's new to him E36, and I'm just doing some little touch-up, tune-up stuff. Brian has a lot of scooters. Quentin has E36's, so they did a little swappy swap. So now Quentin has scooter, Brian has E36. So we got all this taken apart. The Vanos he had in it was starting to get rattly. The bearings get worn out, they get rattly and whatnot, blah, blah, blah. And Quentin had this Dr. Vanos full assembly sitting around, so he gave it to Brian. So this has the anti-rattle bearing built in, and all refreshed. It's all got like new seals and stuff in it and all that wonderful stuff. So I already have it taken apart. Took it apart yesterday, got tired, didn't want to deal with it. So now we're gonna throw it back together. Brian's on his way with a valve cover gasket and spark plugs. Get this thing fresh. Maybe cut some springers because he is waiting on coilovers, but just like you can't, you can't, you know? So might cut the springs too after we do put the Vanos back together. And this will be a good summertime cruiser, even though it's auto, but it's clean. It's really good condition, so do the things.
Yeah, that was a good time. Yeah, sold our buckets a while ago.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, like for almost a year.
Huh. This is Brian's other car, S13 SR KFs. Just the good stuff. And then Sean showed up, got his new bike. But ready to put Vanos in. Okay, so basically before you start putting the new Vanos in, there's a couple steps. Beamers are weird. You have to make sure you do it. So this back here, this is the cam lock. This helps the cams stay perfectly in spot while you're fucking with all this shit. So basically, make sure the dot's on top and lock it in. Make sure this is nice and flat. Lock these two down. And then what you want to do is you want to loosen these four. If you're unsure about the full movement, you have to fully take these washers off, take off these 3 nuts, take off these 4, and you'll be able to see little slots in them basically. And that's what allows the Vanos to move back and forth and not go too far. It's very easy for them to be off, so you have to make sure those are in time. These ones are good now. So as you can see, you move back and forth here. The cam gear right here, that stays in place, and the outer one spins. This has both locks, and these ones are angled. So these angled ones, basically you want to make sure when you go to put it in that you have this all the way to the driver's side. And then you want it to, it'll pop onto this gear first, and then you want to slowly move it a little bit till it catches this. You want to make sure it catches on the very first gear. If you go too far and it catches on the second, it'll be out of time. So basically just take your time, do it 3-4 times, make sure it's on the very first, and then slide your chacham in and fucking tighten her down. See, I'm confident, but I don't just always check all the way and back. Of course, I forgot to make note, should be pretty obvious. You have to have this at top dead, which there is marks. It's really hard to see, especially because I don't have the whole front end taken apart. So if you have an OBD1 car like this, where the crank sensor is actually on the front pulley, then it's kind of hard to see the mark. It's right in behind there where the crank sensor like kind of pops out, so you can't see it. And then there's a mark on the actual crank pulley with a line. Obviously line those up, and you'll see the cams are like pointing like Chacham and Chacham McTooch towards each other. Means compression stroke. So make sure you have those lined up. Now that you got all that basically tightened up and good, you can take off the cam locks, put all this stuff back in, valve cover, scream shit, and drive your car. There's a bunch of oil in the spark plug tubes, so that's all burning off. I promise it's not on fire. Sounds really good. Yeah. All right. Coolant and beauty covers and test drive. Vanos, ha ha ha! Okay, Brian's car's done. Quick Vanos, quick spark plugs, quick valve cover gasket, but valve cover gasket you have to do that. And running good now, no more rattle. And I'm not going to cut springs today. I have too much other stuff to get to. So you can, we'll work that out another day. I guess ride scoots. Scoot time, big scoot, little scoot, massive scoot, big fart.
These are the best invention ever.
Oh, they're sick.
Yeah.
You guys called each other, right?
Yeah, we Ripping through the corners now.
Absolutely.